Okay. Um, I'm back to uploading video on this channel because they're doing things on my other channel, which at some point they will. So I have to prep for them to shut down my other channel. So in the meantime, I'll make sure that I have everything available in order to you know transfer uh, you know my videos into in this new channel, and I have videos that goes back all the way in 2020, and so you know and a lot of those videos just show the systematic things they've been doing to me, and I'm just thankful that I took the initiation to make those videos, even if they erase all of them. It's just like once things are out there like that, one point to another, it's just like just it's kind of like awaiting. I'm so let me just start from the beginning. I just don't want to ramble, um, because this is not the video I want to make. I want to make a video about how they still try to do the PSYOPs. Unfortunately, I will never let them get that. They wanted to escape into a fantasy. When you are in this program, you're surrounded by these perps. Perps consist of maybe people who lives around you. Some people move around you just to be perps, and they're contracted individuals from entities in the government. The reason why they're contracted is to implement these tactics to develop this technology which they're going to implement on you. This is a technology the Department of Defense has been working on. And you have people around you that try to create an ecosystem where, while this technology is doing all these crazy things to you, their job is to try to make you accept these things. They're trying to really make you believe that this reality they've created should be subscribed to. Now, of course, I've made so many videos, and I know that, but if I ever go into that just means I've been gone to another level. And they like to use childlike individuals who reality in the first place is not all the way there. So it's easy for them when they use these childlike individuals to create that fantasy. It's like a child. Children can make themselves like have like imaginary friends and things like that. The imagination of a child is stronger, right? They can make themselves believe things that just completely, versus older individuals who they have to live in everyday life. So but don't of course there's plenty of adult men and women who can create their own little fantasy, la la land, to try to escape from reality. It happens all the time, but it's easier for childlike individuals. But and so I would understand why they would contract these people. And for me, when the gaslighting is going to be to the level of just damn near spectralism, and since I moved here, I gotta say this is kind of like it gets to that point faster than before. I've always been around people who create a falsified reality, but since I got here, it got even bigger, and I noticed there's more childlike individuals interacting with me. But with that being said, also my state of mind at this point is further away and erased, more than before. So they can easily create a storyline, and because when you're a target individual dealing with the V2K, what happens is day in and day out, they are getting deeper in your brain and have the ability to manipulate you. And the manipulation is less and less felt. It feels more like organic, but it's not. It's truly being manipulated. So the technology really is the ability of rewiring a brain and manipulate a brain. And their job is to continuously create those tactics so the individual continuously break down, and so they can rebuild this individual in these ways where these new ways of thinking are more and more ingrained. It's nasty, but I understand what I'm involved in, like what they put me in. At this point, I've understood this is obviously not just a bunch of like random people getting themselves together, avenging the BS story they've put together. It's obvious that this is obviously governmental entities developing a technology, using human subjects to develop this technology. They have these tactics where they try to disorient you, using the people around you, using this V2K technology to continuously say things to disorient you. For example, while I'm putting these things in perspective, I hear this childlike individual try to say things and change, disorient me, try to say whatever she can to make me not say what I'm saying now, because what I'm saying now is, it's obvious that as a target individual, I'm a subject in this development of technology where they use human beings to improve in this technology. And so that's what I mean. Now, this perp, in order to do what she does, he comes up with his own little persona to try to maintain this ecosystem, try to maintain this fantasy in order to cope with what he's doing. And some of them are like, oh, we're winners, and like, it's so annoying. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I get it. You're supposed to agitate me as part of the result you want to get out of me. And so you as a target individual, if you don't understand that, you can easily get lost and frustrated. So that's why I would recommend to all target individuals to just try to understand the thing bigger than, understand this program, and for sure immediately understand that this is bigger than just what you think it is, in regard of like, oh, these people are just the devils, and yes, they do evil stuff. They are foul human beings, but there's a purpose of what's happening. These people are not spending millions of dollars and who knows how much for one person just to ruin your life for fun, just to destroy you. They're not contracting these bottom feeders around you just because it's not. They're contracting, they're doing this thing to you because there's a purpose of developing this technology. And they do foul things to people, even children. And some of the tactics consist of the manipulation of your mind, your bones, your libido, and all that in a way that's going to break you down, to rebuild you in these different ways. They use these tactics that are disturbing, which include pedophilia type of torture. This is things that you're going to hear a lot about the target individuals. They're going to make you experience things that you will not experience naturally. And your whole ecosystem is going to be surrounded to try to make you accept these things. This is what these bottom feeders do. And as I'm speaking about it right now, because I'm putting things in this perspective, which is not what they want. Somebody's coming, opening the door, a neighbor that's contracted to do this thing, and is yelling something, oh, they're lying. Oh, this, whatever they can say to disorient me. That has been the common tactics. And so they also create PSYOPs with me, because it's obvious that they do things to manipulate people in these ways. Because it's not only obvious that you know yourself, it's like, I know me, this is not how I react. But what they've done is protocol. They've done that to others. So when you hear somebody that have nothing to do with you, who says the exact same thing, saying, I'm being forced to think in these ways, I'm getting stimulation like this, I'm getting this and that, dreams like that, you understand that the patterns of what they do is systematically done. And so you also, for me, they present this PSYOP that no, what we're doing actually is we're just mapping you. We've been mining, and this is how you react to things. It's natural, but what we've been doing is just like picking things and being able to analyze you in this fashion that is so deep. And this is why you think, it's just truly kind of create this stupidity of a PSYOP that is like, of course you're not doing that. What you're doing to me is manipulate me in ways to make me react these ways. And then it's like, oh, we are war. It's our war. It's like, obviously you understand this is not war. You're a subject. These people are doing their things remotely, comfortably. Every once in a while, they take the risk of opening the door and yelling something and just slamming the door and going back. You understand? That's what they do. With me, they've been trying to create that PSYOP, which is despicable. It's disgusting. Can you imagine? This program, you've heard a lot of testimonies of women being tortured. A lot. That's why you hear kids screaming because they want to do this and disorient me and try to force me to get stimulation based on that. Because there's a lot of women being tortured. A lot. My validations comes from a lot of women. And as much as they try to disorient me in the ways they try to do these things, you can only, it's just overwhelming to see so many women being tortured these ways. But with me, this PSYOPs, and this reason why you heard this kids scream, is because they're trying to present the PSYOP that we are this group of women. We help people. Matter of fact, we're infiltrating this program so we can help those women. You understand how stupid they want me to be? And those women are saying, there's a lot of females involved in this program. What kind of woman would be involved? You're not even a woman to be involved in a program like that and watching women die like this and being tortured and tormented. But like, no, what we're doing, we help. We help women. No, you're not. You cannot be in this program thinking that you're helping women. You're in a program that's systematically destroying and killing women in so many foul ways. And manipulate them in disgusting ways. So of course I know this is not the case. They're just opportunists. There's incentives for sure. We're talking about DOD. Do you understand the type of budgeting we're talking about? So these people are just finding opportunities in these involvements. But this opportunity they're in is where they also torture children. And some people doing this thing to me today, right now, have experienced torturing women in the same fashion, because there's some people with more expertise than others. I am certain a lot of, a good chunk of people doing this thing to me have done this to women. So I truly see them for what they are. And they're like, no, but remember what you did to this woman. It's like, what? Can you imagine if somebody involved in a program where there's women begging for their life every day to try to live a decent life and a respectable life, seeing their own children dying off or getting sick or losing everything they've worked so hard, being tortured in so many foul ways that you couldn't even believe it's real. And you listen to this trash, try to pretend to be these things. I'd rather be a nothing than a something that, because they like to call people nothing, so you're nothing, right? They're in this program. I'm like, I'd rather be a nothing than try to play this fantasy land that you've created. What kind of something would try to come up with this fantasy in a program where they do these horrible things to women? And for me, because this PSYOP is something that they just wanted to hold on to. And there's no way you can hold on to this. You're nothing. I mean, what? Are you saying that what women are? You guys are not in a program that's torturing women? You see, so for me, they even try to find ways to make me think, and because my brain at this point is so ravaged and so just on the spectrum, they bring up anytime. So I know at this point, target individual groups and those things can be easily involved, like infiltrated. The people can easily get, like anybody. If I wasn't a target individual and I was a perp, I can easily be like, oh, let me be a target individual and be a perp in these groups and on the calls and it's so easy. We're not like spies and like military people, like most. I mean, there's people who retire from the military in it, but I'm talking about most of us are just regular people who are nothing close to anything. We're all civilians, most of us. Not all of us. Most of us are. A lot of us are civilians. We work. We have office jobs. We had a regular life where we had nothing to do with like the government in that sense. So if we get together, target individual, to infiltrate that, you know how the simpleness it would take? It would be so easy. So immediately I found that out. It's like, okay, those groups, there's probably a lot of purpose in it. It makes sense. It's easy. And mind you, target individuals, we're desperate. Right? And so it's easy to like compromise somebody there. Because people we're slowly dying. And so if somebody wants to survive and wants to fight, they compromise themselves for survival purposes. So I remember being on the call, and the first call, and that's when I knew something was off. Today I've made it clear. What they've been doing to me is every time I look at a child, they're going to make me have nasty stimulations. Pedophilia stimulations. I said, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. It's so nasty. Stupidity. I'm in my 30s. You hear this not even grown, so these people who just play the femme fatale, saying things like that, you understand what they're supposed to do. And I'm like, I know. It's what you guys do. But I remember going into the meeting, And that was a new group, right? Just started when I joined the meetup group. Before that, it was another one, and just started like a month after. I was like, okay, whatever. Let me check it out. I know that they can easily compromise that, but let me see. I don't know. I go into that, and this person, she talks to me, and she's like, I'm being told that pedophilia. I'm hearing something about pedophilia, and my head's like, and I'm like, I'm naive at this point. I'm like, oh, you get the same problem too? Like you get the same stuff they do to you too? Do they make you feel these nasty things like they make me? Because I know others have said the same thing. So I'm thinking it's like, oh, they do the pedophilia type of torture to you too. So I'm like, oh, you too. I was like, they do these things to me. I'm like, okay, that's what you mean. And finding out that she was just at that point becoming a perp. She brought her niece or something like that, this little girl, and they tried to make me, like, they made me have these disturbing stimulations. Disturbing. It's like, now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, these nasty things you do. Of course I know what you guys do. It's like, now you made me a child. Stupidity. And they were supposed to be like, I'm supposed to be subscriptive to this, because when I told this story, because I said this, her niece or whatever came in the room and they gave me stimulation, and because they want me to be like, oh, you see, that's proof. Remember what you did as a kid? It's like, no, they raped you. No, you're making me experience these nasty things toward this child. If I get raped and whatever, it has nothing to do with reality. It's me being tortured like by you guys. They rape women till they kill themselves. You understand how delusional they are? They use the torture that you're going to experience to try to make you identify with the manipulation they make you have. And then they see me in front of me. I'm like, you see how I'm looking at you for the trash that you are? It's like, you see, no, they knew that. It's like, no, they probably compromised. It's easy. Like, if I was desperate to leave, if I was, she might, even if let's just say I was just a perp. I played the perp. I played the target individuals like, oh, I'm getting this and that. It's so easy. Or somebody say, we'll hook you up if you do this and that. They nothing. It's so easy. And on top of that, if you're a target individual, you yourself can be influenced. Because if they're in your head, they can manipulate you. So it's like, come on, you think this is going to make me subscribe to this? I know you guys do horrible things to women and children. I know this pedophilia type of torture is what you guys have been doing to others. I've been validated by so many others. It's such a systematic tactic that almost all target individuals are forced to get this child porn implanted in their mind. And you hear this child like trash, that at this point, not only have been validated that they do this pedophilia type of torture, but the entities running this thing are filled with pedos. I'm talking about people downloading child porn in the government devices. Well, I mean, they're like, oh, we mapped it to you when you're a child. I'm like, you're so humiliated by the own entities running the show. Not only have been validated that you do the pedophilia type of torture, not only I know that you torture children, but on top of that, I know that the entities that are actually in charge, not these bottom feeders, please understand, these people are just the bottom feeders. These obviously, these large government entities running the show. Even the tactics they're utilizing, repeating things and saying things and disorienting me. Oh, they're going to rape you. It's because they want to disorient me. That's a tactic CIA entities have come up with to disorient you and confuse you. You gotta be strong. So for me, when they tell me that, do I not believe that I'm going to be tortured and raped and whatever? With the way they've been humiliated, they're going to have to find ways to cope with this humiliation they had to deal with. Do you know, like, when this articles comes out and expose this low life that were pretending like, well, we're protecting our community, we're verifying you. It's like, there's a bunch of pedos downloading child porn, so much so people are making fun of them. It's like, how can they even work with thousands of child porn being downloaded on their computers? Government computers. Well, they tell me how they're going to implant child porn, and some trash is going to tell me how I'm going to, how I did something to her and frame me in this way, some childlike trash. And for me, I've accepted the reality I'm in. I'd rather be in pain and dying than having to live life like them. They wanted to come up, when you do things like they do. And sometimes even when you do something and you want to get to the end, sometimes you block out reality. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, whatever. But these people are doing this to try to cope with reality. I'm in this program that does these nasty things to people, women and men all around the world. We're renowned for the pedophilia type of torture. It's obvious that he knows that we do the pedophilia type of torture. Even when we try to make sense of things, it just doesn't make sense. We're saying that we're making you think the way you were thinking when you were a kid. You're in your 30s, about to be in your late 30s. We're making you think that what you're experiencing now is what you expect. Us, who are renowned to be manipulating people in these pedophilia ways. Oh, by the way, look at the side. We're a bunch of women, you see? Oh, shoot. Ignore this woman saying there's a bunch of women doing this to other women. Oh, ignore this woman saying that just the smell of baby powder causes her to have pedophilia type of torture. Oh, ignore this surveying that says almost all target individuals are forced to have this pedophilia type of torture. Ignore this petition where other target individuals have said this remote pedophilia things. We are just making you think like a child. Pay for it. Oh, ignore the fact that we torture children. Oh, ignore that we use these rape tactics to push these women to kill themselves. Look how angry we are. Pay for it. Trash. Oh, and on top of that, please ignore this BuzzFeed article asking why is there so many pedophiles in these entities? Why are they letting so many pedophiles in these agencies? It's our money. DARPA? What? DOD? What? CIA? What? Never. Listen to the tone of our voices when we talk to you via V2K. This is how they want me to start seeing them as. Target individual. We all have PSYOPs. Some of the other PSYOPs are people who think that these people are like a Russian mafia, Russian government, Chinese government, a cult of evil beings or evil people. They're not that. What you are to them is a subject that is being experimented on. They will torture you the way they torture a woman or a child. They are not protective of anything but their own benefits and their own coping mechanism. They protect themselves from reality. That's all they're protecting themselves from. I rather burn to death than let them live the fantasy. And on top of that, to add more cherries on top of the cherry, you know who put me in this program? There's somebody they can say, he's Roy Moore. I keep saying it. He has nothing to do with them. They can't even say his name. How much humiliation can one have in a lifetime? And I'm not talking about torture. That's what they're going to do to me. They say they're going to torture me. They're going to piss on me. They're going to do all these things. All these horrible things they say. To cope with the reality that these people have been humiliated. You got to be strong. I'm just thankful. I know that these people cannot give me value when they're involved in this program. Even my own family members involved in it. I understand. I'm not the only one. But before I knew something was going on, do you know that I even called something out and one of my family members almost did something to herself while they were doing these things to me? This reality is going to come one way or another. As much as they try to escape, it's going to come. They're cowards, low lives. They tell themselves about how daring they are. The cowards. They even call themselves noble. This trash. Called by others for the trashy things they do. The cowardness that they are. Tell my target individuals stay strong. There's dignity in my death. I'm thankful that I didn't have to live life the way these people live. I know that I'm not perfect. Very far from perfect. I know my imperfection very well. And it's not what they try to implant in me. But these people, some of them died before I've even died. They're trying to agitate me. I can never forget that moment. And more will probably. And you see this childlike individual who just go, "We there, we're going through the repetition CIA tactics of just disorienting." You see them in person, it's like it is super validating. It is super when you see them in person, the validation you get is on another level. Isolation makes them a little bit more mysticful than they are. Then you see them in person, you're like, "Jeez." Stay strong, target individual. Whatever we go through, I'm telling you, there is a level of actual dignity and nobility in this. You could be out there working for these entities, doing all these horrible things to people, and create your little fantasy, your La La Land fantasy, and then reality hits you over and over again. Stay strong.